keep in mind that what am I about to say is from someone that loves Neverness to Everness. Yes, I will keep saying this disclaimer every time I talk about a gacha, okay? NTE is mid. But to understand why I say it's mid, you need to understand a few things. There are a few reasons on why someone can call a game mid. One is more biased, and the other one I can still resonate with it. The one that is biased is basically complain and criticize a game for what it's not. I cannot ask Neverness to Everness be GTA or Ananta, even Ananta is a thing that I'm gonna talk about in a bit, but I cannot criticize Neverness to Everness for not being any of those games, because at the end of the day, when you criticize a game, you have to criticize it for what it has and for what it is, not for what it's not. When you criticize something for what it's not, what you're describing is the expectations you have with a game that maybe it's not even for the same objective public to begin with. In particular with Ananta, I find it even funnier because the game didn't even came out yet. Let that sink in. We are comparing a game with another one that didn't even came out. I think people forgot that stuff like No Man's Sky released the way they did back in the day, or Cyberpunk, or, you know, like games can have a redemption arc. And I'm not upset about that, but you need to remember that we have to criticize a game when it's already in the market. Otherwise, there are gonna be surprises. But either way, with Neverness to Everness, I feel like there is another type of reason why the critique makes more sense on calling it mid. The thing is, like, when you grab Neverness to Everness and you dissect it and you look at the game individual parts one by one, the puzzles, the mechanics, the combat, the side content, how it works, why it works the way it works, and what rewards it will give you, I think it's just okay. Some of them are better, some of them are worse. I would argue that the story is in the worst state possible, but it can be improved. I would also argue that stuff like, for example, the anomaly hunts are in a very good state, and the only problem that they have is that there are so little and they just need to add more. And the anomaly hunts, on the other hand, is a content that is also not really praised enough, especially in a gacha game. I keep hearing that Neverness to Everness is mid because it's not original, when it has a very good thing that really stands out from other gacha games, and one of them is the anomaly hunts. But also, Neverness to Everness has problems. Like, it has problems of performance, it has problems in the polish of some minigames. Like, to put it simple, Tetris has input lag, the racing cars, you need to play at 30 FPS to drift properly, there are bugs all over the place, in the haste, in the delivery. Like, it just has a ton of things that it can be solved once the team gets bigger and they just polish it more, like all the other gacha games, or well, not all. It's a bit of a stretch, but a lot of the other gacha games that has been in the market previously, you know? Like, at the end of the day, it's a relatively small quote-unquote team for the big scope that this game can be. But this doesn't explain, like, why I like it and why a lot of people find it fun, including myself. It's the game that I have been playing the most over the past month since its release. And it's as simple as the fact that a game is the sum of each individual parts to make a product. And usually when you grab things that are in an okay state, but they flow so well properly, that if you remove one of them, the entire game maybe wouldn't be as fun as it is right now. So you need all these elements that are just okay for the game to actually be interesting and fun. And I heard this opinion before a lot of times. It's like, but why would you play a game that has a million of stuff to do that they are all slop? And it's because, like, what to me adds some flavor to the entirety of the game. The fact that I can choose the ones that I consider are slop and the ones that are not. The freedom that I have in Neverness to Everness, I don't have it in any other gacha game that I played. Also, the game is free, which is free, and some people say, like, yeah, but when you play a free-to-play, it's not entirely free because you put money. I only put money to buy a skin on release, and that's it. I haven't put any money for any character that I want since then. And I have a video criticizing the Porsche collab that I still hold up very well. I still think the stuff that I think even to this point. But I also made the mistake that not releasing this video after playing 1.1 because I've been reading news from the China server that is already playing the 1.1 that says that there is more enough chance to get all the rewards with the rewards that the patch gives you itself as well. So this is something that I cannot count with. I just can talk about the information that I have. So if that happens later on, I will say like, oh, maybe I was wrong, maybe they gave us enough to buy the Porsche. But since I don't know, I cannot grab it and set it in stone, okay? Of course, there are other types of mid games, like there are games that are mid just because they are on a market that is saturated. If Hogwarts Legacy came out back in 2016 around, I would say that game would have been amazing, but the problem is that it came out very late, to the point that by the time it came out, it wasn't that original anymore. There were already a lot of fantasy games and such, so I'm aware that it sold incredibly well, but I'm just talking about like half the game through the end. A lot of people love this game, but they didn't even finish it. So that's why I also think Neverness to Everness is going on a great direction, especially now, because at the end of the day, it's also the first urban gacha that released that, even though it's not GTA, it tries to simulate a somehow experience, but again, it doesn't really try to grab the same public objective. And I keep hearing people saying that Ananta is gonna dethrone it, people are gonna forget about Neverness to Everness, and yada yada yada. I'm not sure about that. I'm not saying that Ananta is not gonna be popular, I'm hype about it, but there are a lot of reasons why Ananta won't grab the public of Neverness to Everness that much. And those reasons could be that, one, it's not a gacha, it's an anime open world game. You would think that these reasons are not so different, but they are actually, because there are people that enjoy grinding for this stuff and not really enjoy the gameplay of GTA Online, for example. And the second reason, and I find it weird that I had to say this, but yes, the requirements for Ananta, especially size and such, there will be people that won't be able to play Ananta. You know, there will be people that won't have the phone or the PC or the size on their PC, on their console, that won't be able to even play Ananta. So for those people, there are other games, and these other games are like Neverness to Everness, in which I assume by the point that Ananta arrives, there is gonna be a more polish when it comes to the optimization of the game, but we will see. Again, these are part of the things that we will have to see. But at the same time, I don't want this video to sound like, oh, Neverness to Everness is awesome for what it could be. No. I think Neverness to Everness is awesome right now for what it is. And what it is that the sum of all its elements is just fun overall. Like, grinding funds feels fun overall. Farming your characters feels fun overall. I don't feel like any type of FOMO really right now with the game, except of the Porsche collab. But again, I already talked about that. But I don't feel FOMO for grinding for characters, you know. I have my teams pretty much set up at this point, and I didn't put money to pull for characters. I don't really care about duplicates either way, so at the end of the day, I just feel like this game is fun. You know, it's fun, but it's also mid. And I think one thing that people need to remember as well is that we need mid games in order to understand what is a good game and what is a bad game as well. Because it's simple to say, this game is bad because I don't like it, or this game is good because I like it. It's very simple to say. That doesn't help at all to anyone if you want to recommend a game or if you want to buy a game. You know, like if you're trying to sell a game, that doesn't help. And if you want to recommend it for a friend to play with you, that doesn't help either. And another important thing is that the critique and the value of that game, your personal value, it could be perfectly different from the quality of value that the game gives. In my case, I'm talking about Neverness to Everness as a mid game in the terms of the quality of the product in the state that it is right now. But I can tell you that it's mid, and I can tell you that it's fun as well, and it's one of the most fun games I played this year so far. That's what I want people to understand. that the value that you give to a game is not really attached to the quality of the game itself. That's what I want you to let sink in. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.